What's going on, guys? In this one we're going to be doing a version of mac and cheese which isn't your traditional style. This one's a little bit more fancy using a couple of extra ingredients, but they're all easy to get and it tastes absolutely incredible. Please sit back, relax and enjoy. Alright guys, there's not much prep for this dish, but the only ingredient we need to prepare is 90 grams or 3.1 ounces of Parmesan cheese that we can run along a fine microplane or fine box grater over a bowl, catching that delicious grated Parmesan, and we do need to get this finely grated, otherwise it won't melt into our sauce and make it lumpy. To this, add in 14 grams or 0.4 ounces of corn flour or starch, then using a fork or whisk, give this a mix to combine, and that corn flour or starch is going to work with the Parmesan to create an absolutely incredible flavoured sauce, with its main purpose to thicken the sauce and prevent the Parmesan from clumping, and then once that's done, pop it aside for the time being. For the pasta, place a large saucepan of water over a high heat, add in a generous sprinkle of sea salt flakes, and once boiling, add in 250 grams or 8.8 ounces of macaroni, mix to combine to prevent it clumping, and then cook for 1 minute less than the packet instructions. Now place another large saucepan over high heat, and straight away pour in 300 milliliters or 300 grams of cheap white wine, with myself using Sauvignon Blanc. Bring this to a boil and leave it to reduce for 5 to 6 minutes, or until only 2 tablespoons or 40 milliliters remains. Right about now, our macaroni should be cooked 1 minute less than the packet instructions. Let's then remove this from the stovetop and pour it through a colander to drain, being careful of any splashback and hot steam. Give it a quick shake and let rest for 10 minutes to drain further and slightly cool down. Going back to the reduced wine, which has taken on more of a concentrated flavour from the reduction, what we should have is about 2 tablespoons worth or 40 milliliters of a nice maple syrup-like colour wine. To this, pour in 1 1/4 cups or 310 milliliters of chicken stock, which is going to be the foundation of our sauce that's flavoured by the wine. Turn this down to the lowest heat, mix to combine, and let sit for 1 minute to heat the stock. Once warmed, add in the Parmesan or corn flour or starch mix and use a fork to give this a really big mix, doing so for about a minute just to ensure that there's no clumps of flour or Parmesan. The Parmesan doesn't matter too much as it will melt, but concentrate on breaking up the flour or starch. Also, don't worry if it's runny because that's how it's supposed to be, and once that's all done, this can then be turned off the heat. Now in a clean bowl, tip in the drained and slightly cooled macaroni, then the ingredient we're going to need is truffle infused extra virgin olive oil, which has a beautiful flavour and aroma, and it isn't that expensive at all and will serve you many recipes. For the macaroni, add in 30 milliliters or 1.5 tablespoons of the truffle oil and use a spatula to get everything coated in that delicious infusion, which literally makes the macaroni so good to eat just as it is now without adding anything else. Once all truffle oiled up, add the macaroni into the wine, stock and cheese reduction, scraping in any oil left in the bowl, making sure not to waste any, then using the spatula, fold the truffle macaroni through the cheese sauce until smooth and combined and all of those beautiful flavours have become friends. Last but not least, add in 90 grams or 3.1 ounces of soft cream cheese or Philadelphia cream cheese spread and fold this all together. That will now become really creamy and create an incredible cheese consistency, which is the perfect balance between too runny and too thick. This can then be transferred into a small to medium sized baking dish, ensuring you get everything in there as you really don't want to waste anything, then spread and level it out with a spatula. Just when you thought there wasn't enough cheese, finally grate over some more Parmesan cheese, with the amount being completely up to you, but just make sure you at least cover the whole surface, leaving us with this beautiful dish that can be placed into a preheated oven set at 240 degrees Celsius or 465 degrees Fahrenheit on the grill or broiler setting and cook for 4 to 5 minutes until golden brown on the surface, then carefully take it out of the oven and place it onto a heat resistant surface, allowing it to cool for 5 minutes to set. Once set, this can then be carefully portioned, with it serving 4 to 6 people depending on portion size, and to serve it up, serve it on its own or alongside a protein of your choice. Give it a little pinch of sea salt flakes, a few cracks of black pepper, and a little drizzle of truffle oil for that finishing touch, leaving us with literally the tastiest truffle mac and cheese that's super cheesy, creamy, rich, and just incredibly delicious. The only thing that's left to do is make all of this worthwhile, and that is we can then dig in.